All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next workshop. Excited to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking all about optimizing your Google business profile, Google business listing, Google My Business. There's lots of names for it. But that's what we're talking about today. And the big reason that we're really covering this in the first place is because right now, for their lead business, more leads for our clients than paid ads, their website, any of the other things that they're doing. Google My Business has become that important to your business, to your digital marketing. It's just that important. So today we're going to be kind of going through some things around what you should do, what you can do with the platform to really optimize it, obviously, for your business and to get more leads, generate more revenue. So, all right, let me jump in here and let's get started. So today what we're going to be covering is, let me see if I can switch this over here. There we go. We're going to be talking about what's new. So what are the latest things that have happened around Google Business Profile, Google Map Listing, whatever you want to call it. 5 biggest issues that could prevent you from ranking quite well on there. Our proven model to get into what we call the 3-pack, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that is. Some tools around helping you optimize, helping you make the most of this platform. And then last, I also wanted to talk about reviews, because reviews is a big piece of getting eyeballs on your business on this platform. So having reviews. So we're going to talk a little bit about things that you can do to get more reviews on that platform. A little bit about me real quick. My name is Will Hankey. My business is called Window Treatment Marketing Pros. We are specific digital marketing company for window treatment and awning companies. That's all we do. So if you have one of those types of businesses, this information will probably work for you quite well. By the way, that was my daughter, Amber. She works with me. I probably should explain why I'm standing there with somebody. That's my daughter. If you have questions, so we are broadcasting this live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of different places, wherever you're watching this. If you have questions while we're live, go ahead and put those in the chat on that platform, and we will see those. So if you have questions, stop me. Let's get those questions in there. I want to make sure that I get everything answered as we go along. You can also wait to the end and ask your question if you want, but I'm happy to make sure to clarify anything along the way as well. So if you've watched any of our other workshops, you'll know about this, the digital dominance method. These are the 12 main pieces of a quality, well-built digital marketing campaign. Now, today we're really going to be focusing on number 2, which is your local SEO foundation. Pretty much all we're going to cover. There are different things and inside these pieces of pie of things that you could be doing for your business. This is one of the most crucial, because I said, please. So you already know the answer to this, but does it really matter? So when it comes to doing a search, especially on a desktop, 71% of the clicks go to either what we call the 3-pack, 3 results there, or the first 2 organic listings. That's where most people are going. Now, the interesting thing about this number, 71%, is if you remember, there's probably a couple ads above that. And then, of course, there's more listings below that as well. So a lot of people are getting what we used to call it banner blindness. Like back in the 90s when the internet was new and we had all these flashing banners and all this crazy stuff. After a while, people got blind to them and immediately scrolled down. That's still the case around the Google ads. Not that the Google ads don't work. It's just that a lot of people do skip right past them to this part of the organic listing. So very interesting to see that. So yes, that piece matters. The other thing you can do here, as you can see in this example, is you can take multiple positions in that 71% of click area, right? You can have a listing in the Google 3-pack, and then you can own the first and maybe even the second organic slot. The cool thing about this is you're pushing competitors down by doing that. So definitely worth your time. Obviously, the organic piece below the 3-pack is SEO related stuff that we talk about on other workshops. But the combination of doing these things together can really impact your business and the number of leads that you get in a very positive way. Now, the other thing to consider here is mobile search. Around 70% now of searches are done on mobile devices. And mobile would include like Siri, Alexa, Google Home, those types of platforms as well. Somewhere in the range of 70% of people are searching for your service, your products on a mobile device. So you cannot ignore it. When it comes to which screen should you be on, I think it's pretty obvious. You have to have a mobile version of your site. It has to be what we call responsive, or responds to whether somebody's looking at their phone like this, looking at their phone like this, on an iPad, whatever it happens to be. Somewhere in the 2018, 2019 range, mobile exceeded desktop. So it's obviously very important. I think you know that. When it comes to what people use their phones for, number 5 here is online shopping. That's where we would kind of be in the scheme of things. So that's researching and or being in a purchase mode, appointment type mode for stuff that they're looking for. So it is definitely one of the top things that people use their mobile devices for. This is a screenshot from one of our clients' calls that they had just last week. And you can see the major source of their calls is Google My Business, now called Google Business Profile. But it is definitely a huge piece of the overall equation. So yes, obviously it does matter. You can't just rely on paid ads or organic SEO. You have to have all the pieces kind of working together. All right, so let's talk about what's new. Now, back in the day, Google had, I guess we could call it the 7-pack. We didn't call it that, but basically they reduced it from 7 results down to 3. So that's the map with the pins. Google now has just 3 results there. Google is also serving paid ads in that area. So you can actually get a 4th listing in the 3-pack, which sounds a little crazy, but you can. So there is a way to do that through the paid ad platform to get that 4th listing, and it shows up first. So if you're paying for that spot, you can show up before the 3 organic businesses that show up there as well. Verification. So this has drastically changed over the last 12 months, 16 months. It is a lot more difficult to get your business approved. And if you have it approved now, and let's say you change your something like that, it's very likely that they'll throw you into some sort of pending state and you have to prove a lot of stuff over again. So verification process is a lot more detailed than it has been in the past. And reviews require to have a real account. They did for a while let people leave reviews without having a Google account, and they quickly kind of reverted on that idea. So the other thing you'll notice is just the way that they've kind of changed things from how it used to look to how it looks now. It's a little bit different, but you can certainly see that as time goes on, this impacts search results. So just having quality reviews, having your business profile optimized is going to help with your organic results as well. So definitely worth paying attention to and understanding that, and then having it in multiple places. You can own the search results. Local service ads, not for us yet. So they have started releasing local service ads, which is something we've never had in this industry before. They're starting to release that for us, which is going to be a game changer. That's fantastic. Then we've got the map, then we've got the organic listings, and then we also have sometimes third-party listings. So you might be on the Better Business Bureau website, or Yelp, or those kinds of things can also rank for your business. So you can dominate these results if you have optimized a lot of these things. Another thing that is still an issue is fake Google business listings. Maybe not fake ones so much as spammy ones, I guess would be a good way to say it. But Google says that they've really, worked on this and reduced the fake listings. There was an article back in 2019 about this, the fact that Google makes money off those fake listings. So, it's the whole conspiracy thing, if you're into that, that maybe it's not really true that they've reduced it. But we do find some of these sometimes. Here's an example of one. This is a fake listing. As you can see, the real listing is right below that. There's a fake listing above it. So it's still out there, still a thing, but not a huge concern like it has been in the past. So something that's new right now, obviously the new name. So you probably hear me referring to it as Google My Business. It's been that way for a long time. They did change it now to Google Business Profile. However, even on some of the screenshots I showed you, we still call it GMB, Google My Business, just because it's been that way for so long. It used to be called Google Maps. Then it was called Google Places, Google My Business. Now it's called Google Business Profile. So whatever you want to call it, that's the way it is. I have seen some layout changes. So Google's obviously always testing different things, right? So this is a search for the phrase Memphis window treatments. Now, if I did that search, I got the three listings on the left. I've got the map on the right with the pins. If I change the words around, so Memphis window treatments, if I change it to window treatments Memphis, check it out. It's different. Now the map's above and the three listings are below. So interesting how they're testing some things out just by different keywords, which ultimately are the same searches. But interesting to see the difference between the two searches and how Google's always kind of playing with their system to see which one works better. Obviously, I like this one better. I think this one looks great. And this is something that we just did a search for recently for Austin. So another thing is the app is gone. So if you use the Google My Business app or Google Business Profile app in the past, no longer available. It was actually really nice that you could go in and edit your profile on your phone. All of that has been taken away from us. And now you actually just edit your business results right inside the search. So you just do a search for your name, and typically you'll see you own or you manage this business profile. So you can click on that profile and actually edit it right inside there. We'll get into that a little bit more in a couple minutes here. As I mentioned, verification is just getting a lot crazier. It used to be that you added your business, they sent you a postcard with a PIN number, you put your PIN number in there, and you were off to the races. Not so much the case anymore. Now they're asking us in some cases to verify through an email code. We've actually had quite a few clients that have had to shoot physical videos of their location with street signs and things like that. And this is the inside of our location, our workroom, whatever it happens to be. So this is getting a lot tougher. So if you haven't gone through this process, better to get started sooner than later, because it is a bit of work to get through it in some cases. Sometimes they'll ask for a video. Sometimes they'll ask for business documentation, EIN numbers, that sort of stuff. So just be aware that it's a little bit of a process to get that done. So let's talk about getting ranked in whatever they're calling it this week, right? There really are 4 pieces to getting it ranked well. So the first obviously is having the profile optimized. That's there, the G in the middle there, having it optimized. And we'll talk through some of that today. On the left with all the arrows and things, that's kind of a symbol of something called citations. Citations are mentions of your business around the web. For instance, your Facebook profile, your Better Business profile, Foursquare, Yelp. There's tons of these citation sites, and we'll talk more about that as well. On-page SEO, so optimizing your website so that it ranks and sends the right signals about your location, things of that sort, actually affects your Google business profile. And then lastly, reviews, how many reviews you have, how current they are, how good they are, from 0 to 5, or 1 to 5, I guess. So lots of different pieces of the puzzle in order to get it to work. But first thing you have to do is claim your business profile. So let me skip forward and then I'll jump back to this slide. Google.com/business is where you would start there. If you go there and you see this Manage Now button in the upper corner, that means you probably already have this set up. If you don't see that, then you'll probably have something like a sign up button or something. But here are some tips on things that you can do. Make sure, obviously, that you have a login, that you're able to get into your account. It is possible that your business profile exists on Google, even though you've never set it up. So Google, pulls in this huge database of businesses. They put it up there, and then you can claim that business. So one of the things you can do is just go to Google, type in your business name, and if it says you manage this business, you're golden. If it says claim this business, or something like, are you the owner? Claim this business. Then that means that you need to claim it, or you have claimed it with a different Google login. One of those two scenarios is possible. So definitely make sure that you figure out what your login is for that platform. Update your company name to just have the company name. It should match what's on your business license. Exactly. Obviously, website address, have local phone numbers, upload photos. We're going to talk about some of these things in a minute here, but these are some really good tips on things that you can do to start optimizing this profile a little bit. So as I mentioned, use your real company name on your listing because that is going to get you in trouble if you try to add additional keywords. That will not be a good thing, and you could potentially get flagged, suspended, and even removed from their platform. Once you get in, there should be a button. After you search for your business, there should be an edit profile button. Get in there and just fill everything out. Fill out the about our business, the name of the business, some sort of description. Obviously, this is an opportunity for you to put in some keywords. Don't make it spammy, but put in a description of your business, what you do, when you opened, obviously, contact info, that sort of stuff as well. A couple best practices. All of our clients use call tracking to differentiate their lead sources. So if somebody goes to the web and they type in window treatments near me, right? And they see your business as one of the 3 options and they click on the button to call you, you'll know that phone number, that lead came because you've had your Google business profile up there. So we put a different phone number specifically on Google business profiles. Update and geotag your photos, add new photos consistently. There's something called Google Posts we'll talk about. And then, of course, respond to the reviews that you do get. That will really help as well. There's also a section for people to ask questions. Are you open on Saturday, right? You could actually just answer that question. Yes, as a matter of fact, our showroom's open from 8 to 12 or whatever it happens to be. When it comes to the call tracking, you can see we put the call tracking number first, and then we put the real phone number, whatever your actual business line is, in there in the secondary spot. So from a setup standpoint, that's how you would do that. There is some chatter in the advertising agency world, I guess you could say digital marketing world, around geotagging photos. Some people say it's not worth your time. Some people say it is. It doesn't affect one way or the other in a huge amount. So maybe it's worth your time, maybe not. But we use a tool called GeoImager. Basically, any photos that our clients give us, we geotag that photo to a specific location, a zip code, a subdivision, intersection of two streets, something like that related to their business. And then we upload that photo so it has that geotagged information behind the scenes in it. Again, I wouldn't spend too much time on this. And quite honestly, if you're taking photos of projects, they're probably going to already be geotagged. So your phones do it by default. Some cameras do, some do not. But if you're taking local pictures, then it's probably not an issue because it's already been geotagged in the back end through the phone. Then there's a section here for photos. Obviously, upload photos. You can see the add photos button there. I think there's also a button here for add an update, which you can put photos in here as well. This is more for status news type updates. A good place to put your blogs if you're putting out content on a regular basis. You can also put things, we're sponsoring the T-ball team. We have a car wash that we're sponsoring, any of that kind of stuff. All that stuff can go into the add posts area as well. And Google rewards people for using their platform. So you definitely want to consider doing this. I think on my previous slide, it said every 10 days at least. So every week or two, make sure that you're updating it. Obviously, if you can more often, that's even better. But I'm sure a lot of you are busy running your business, right? And maybe don't have time to stop and add something to Google on a regular basis. But do be consistent about it. Every week or two would be great just to have some sort of new thing rotating through there. Reply to reviews. So when somebody leaves you a review, especially if it's a 4 or 5 star review, make sure you're saying thank you, right? One tip that I shared last month is to use ChatGPT. So it does get kind of monotonous saying, hey, thanks, Andrew, in this case. We really enjoyed working with you or something like that. You can use ChatGPT, just copy and paste Andrew's review into there and say, hey, help me create a reply to this. And then copy and paste the reply back in here to the system. So consider using AI to help you along with this as you get more and more reviews so that they don't sound so monotonous, I guess. But definitely you want to reply to reviews. Again, Google rewards you if you're using their platform. So you definitely want to do that. From time to time, we do get negative reviews. And there's 2 things that can happen here. If it was a legit 1-star review because you just messed up, right? That happens from time to time. I would, again, use ChatGPT. Plug it into there, explain the situation, help me write some sort of reply. What I would not do is see the 1-star review and immediately go back and start typing, right? Because we're mad, we're angry. Oh yeah, that kind of stuff. Let it stew for 24 hours, then use ChatGPT to come up with something a little more polite as a reply. It's also possible that, you maybe you just messed up and maybe they didn't tell you or it was kind of like a sabotage thing. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Jones, we didn't realize that had happened. We'd be glad to come back out and fix that. You go back out and fix it and ask Mrs. Jones if she would mind changing it to a 4 or 5 star review at that time. That definitely is a possibility as well. And probably worth your time if it's not a huge thing. The other thing that could happen is something like this, where this was a client who got a 1-star review and the lead never came through. We could only surmise in this situation that they had set up an appointment with a different company and then somehow ended up on his page and left him a review. So in this case, it was not valid. So you can click on the 3 dots there, click flag as inappropriate. You can choose from some of these different things. Now, if it's bullying, harassment, cuss words, anything like that, they'll take them down pretty quickly. If it was not a valid thing, such as this one, then you just choose it from this list and say this definitely was not a customer of ours. That situation is probably the hardest to get the review removed, but just provide every documentation that you can about the fact that it's not one of your customers, and hopefully they'll take it down. Obviously, if it's one of the other things there, they'll take them down pretty quickly. So also in this area, there is a button for performance. So you can kind of see over time how your profile is working out. If you're getting more clicks, less clicks, if people are clicking the call to action, you can see how many visits, how many people requested directions, all that kind of stuff is in this system as well. So some things that could be hurting your rankings in the map area. One of the big things really is you need an office in the city that you're targeting. So proximity is a big piece of this. For some of our clients, we've got people that work from home, right? That makes it a little more tough because you have to list your address, your home address, or you have to rent some sort of location. And a lot of times people live a little bit further away from the center of the city. So that throws off their rankings a little bit. So best case scenario, have an office as close to the center of that city as possible. Definitely don't spam with any fake locations. Things like co-working spaces maybe are okay if you really have, a legitimate cubicle at one of those places. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Things like a PO box, UPS store, those types of places don't work anymore. So that's not going to help. Another thing is inconsistent name, address, phone number. We'll talk about this in a minute. We call that the NAP. But if they're inconsistent, then you're missing some opportunities there. Spamming in your city or name or categories. We showed you an example of that earlier. We'll come across a couple more here. Reviews. Quite honestly, this is just a quantity game. The more reviews, the better you can. And then I've already mentioned kind of the home office scenario as well. So citations. I mentioned these earlier on, and these are another thing that's really important to get more eyeballs on your listing and get into that 3-pack. So citations are basically mentions of your business around the web. So let's say the Better Business Bureau, right? That is a website with a business directory. All kinds of businesses are listed in there. Whether you're a member of the BBB or not doesn't matter. They still list your business in there. So you want to make sure that what's in there is correct. It has to have a consistent name, address, and phone number on all these different platforms. So that's definitely a big piece of it. Let me drop this down so I can see here. Make sure that you don't have any duplicate entries. So just put your business in there once, not multiple times. That's definitely an important piece of this as well. All right. I saw a question come up and then it disappeared. Can you put that back up for me so I can see it? Okay. Sauce and Bash Productions. I like that. For some reason, my Google Maps location added a book online link that sends customers to a Thumbtack microsite. I can't seem to remove it without sending in a special request. That should be in the Google Business Profile. Well, I guess you said you've tried to edit it and it won't let you update it. Yeah, it might be that the only thing you can do is put in a support request. We do a lot of support requests for them, and they take some time to get back to you. So if you have put one in, hopefully they'll get back to you soon and help you with that. If you can edit that and change it to, your website or a Calendly link or the Lead Boomerang software that we'll talk about here in a couple minutes. There are a lot of different ways that you can obviously send people to book online. But when it comes to it not being accessible and you have to change it, you're kind of stuck waiting on support. So wonder if you think this is good or bad, wondering if it hurt or helped to keep. Trim a Seal Home Improvements is the name of the company. Okay, so that's the name of the company. It doesn't have the words window treatments in it, that kind of stuff, I think is where you're going with that. So not a huge deal. Prior to me starting the window treatment niche in 2018, I had what we call a generalist agency, and I had that for 20 years. And it was called Red Canoe Media. It was just a digital marketing firm, but it had nothing to do with red canoes. It had nothing to do with water or anything like that. And we got it to rank just fine. So I don't think that's a huge speed bump. I don't think that's that big of an issue. If you have a strong SEO presence, you've optimized your profile, that kind of stuff, that should be not really much of an issue at all. I wouldn't worry about that. Just get you in the right categories and stuff, and you should be fine with that. So great question. All right. Let's see here. Here's a couple examples of citations that are probably familiar to a lot of you. A lot of these businesses have websites that you can list your business on. So definitely consider doing that. Here's a lot more. And, there's quite a few. Some of these still exist. Some of these don't even exist anymore. They come and go pretty quickly. The important thing here is to make sure that across the board, your name, address, and phone number are always the same, down to street versus ST, boulevard versus BLVD, that kind of stuff. Whatever format you choose to use, just always keep it the same on all of these different websites that you list your business on. Here's an example of one: New York City, NY City Blinds, Window Treatments, Design, and Home Automations. Now, if you do a little search for them, go to their website, you can see the website button there. When you go to their website, their business name is actually just NY City Blinds. So that could get them in a lot of trouble by having this extra stuff in there. Quite honestly, a competitor could come along and flag this profile, as not correct, that kind of stuff. Not saying that would happen, but it does happen. Yeah, it does happen. So, and it could just be Google that, with this verification process that they're getting a lot more strict with, that they would come across this on their own and say, hey, send us a copy of your business license with the actual name, so that could happen as well. So just be careful. Whatever the name is, even if it's the Trimasil, just put it up there as the way that you registered it with the government. Now, one place that you can use, or a couple places, couple tools that you can use to find citations. So find websites where I can go list my business and get Google's love for having that citation up there. Whitespark is a great one, whitespark.ca. They're in Canada. Moz Local is another good one. For us, we use one called Bright Local for all of our internal stuff for our clients. And Yext is another one that's fairly popular. You may have actually heard of. We settled on Bright Local because they just do the best job in our opinion for what we are. So Bright Local is I think the link for that. So back end of Bright Local, one of the things that it lets us do is create these SEO reports. So you can actually go get one for free, wtmarketingpros.com/report. The report is fairly long and fairly extensive. They pull up your Google business profile and then they judge you, I guess, on quality of a lot of different things. Beyond just the Google business profile, you can also some local SEO thing happening in there, things like that. It'll check your citations. We do have a QR code. You can actually just shoot that QR code and it'll pop up the link for you on your phone that you can just plug in your information right there. Or you can just go to the website and do it, either one. But you'll get a nice list of all the different potential citations, what the name is of your business that they see in there, what is the location, zip code, and phone number. So you can see all these things need to match. So in this first example here, bbb.org, the address is wrong. It's not, 740 Troy Road. In the first example there, the BBB only has city and state. So that's one that needs to be fixed, and that could be identified in Bright Local for you. So pretty cool. It gives you, like I said, looks at your reviews, gives you whether or not they can connect to those reviews, how many you have on that platform, where you're typically ranking against some of the other competition you have in that town. And then it does do a little bit of on-site SEO stuff for your website as well. Pretty cool. wtmarketingpros.com/report is where you would go for that. When it comes to best practices, the absolute best practice is to manually claim and optimize your profile. You definitely have to do that first. Make sure that that is exactly 100% filled out. Anything you can fill out, fill out. And then use a tool like BrightLocal, Whitespark, some of these other tools to find other citation opportunities. There's also on a lot of these platforms something called data aggregators. These are, I think there's 4 or maybe 5 of them that are huge. So there's huge server farms, I guess, that have millions and millions of business names and information in there. And they could be correct, they could be wrong. And some of these other platforms, like the Better Business Bureau, for example, might be pulling their data from those aggregators. So it's important to make sure those are up to date. So as they trickle down to all these other platforms, that information is being put correctly in the first place. So that's something you can do inside BrightLocal as well. And then you can also use these platforms to find niche listing opportunities. I think I got a couple examples of these. Yeah. So your local Kiwanis, JCs. You could also do a search on Google for whatever your city is, and then the words business directory. A lot of times there's local people who build these types of sites. You can sponsor events that have websites. If that event has a website and they list their sponsors in there along with a link back to you, that would be awesome. That's a great opportunity. Same for teams, charities, car washes, all that kind of stuff are a great opportunity for you to get additional citations. If you want a list of the top citation sites, this is 75. So right now we do, I think, around 230 of these for our clients. But here's a great jump start for you, 75 of them. wtmarketingpros.com/citations. Just put your information in there, grab that list. That will get you off to the races and get you started with building some citations. You could also obviously start with some of the major ones, your Google business profile, your Facebook profile, your Yelp profile, Better Business Bureau, some of these really popular ones that everybody probably already has, but maybe don't know if they're correct or not. So anyway, grab that list. The last thing I want to talk about is reviews. We need you to get lots of reviews. They need to be real reviews. So when we first start out, of course, we get our mom and our cousins and everybody to leave us. After that, we kind of need like real ones, right? From real customers. This needs to be part of your process. So at the time of install is done, you need to be asking for a review as soon as possible, as soon as you drive that last screw in or hang that last drape, whatever it is, you need to be asking for a review at that point, if possible. When it comes to options, here's one for mobile searchers, right? A lot of times mobile searchers will do a search like this, and then they'll make their decision purely on the number of reviews. So we've got Made in the Shade Eastern Shore with 91, Delmarva blinds with 44, and budget blinds with only 6, right? So the obvious choice is probably going to be this first option. So it's that important. It really is. A lot of times now, this budget blinds obviously isn't doing a great job of asking for reviews. Sometimes we do run across budget blinds locations that have a whole bunch of reviews, and it's hard to get ahead of them because they've got that process in place. And not just budget, any of these competitors that you have. So it's definitely important to make sure that you're in that conversation, even if there's a huge hill to climb to get into that first spot. One thing you can do is you probably have a list of past customers, past installs that you've done. Grab that list and put them into a system that can then request, hey, I know it's been a while since we did this install, but our business really relies on reviews in order to get more business. If we did a great job for you, we'd really appreciate if you could help us out and leave us a review, right? Put that list into a system like Lead Boomerang or some of these other CRMs and reach out to them, people. You might be surprised at the number of reviews you get. Also, they might say, oh, I've been meaning to contact you guys about doing the kitchen, right? So there's a couple things that could happen from that. A couple strategies for getting reviews. Definitely leverage some tools such as Lead Boomerang, which I'll show you guys in a minute here, to get more reviews and have a a way to do it very consistently. Also, do it on multiple platforms. So not just send them an email, maybe send them a text. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. Leave a printed review card. So for every one of our clients, we actually print them out a business card size, business card. On one side, it just has the logo of the company. On the other side, it just has a QR code. Would you mind leaving us a review? Hand that to Mrs. Jones while you're standing there in the living room. And she's like, these are wonderful, right? Hand it to her and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, we're glad that you really like the drapes. Would you mind shooting this QR code and leaving us a 5-star review? Best time to get it. And that's an easy way to go about doing that. Train your installers to plant the seed, obviously deliver a world-class experience. That goes without saying. Make the call afterwards. If they don't do it in the living room while you're standing there, have the designer call them maybe the next day and say, we hope you still really like those. Would you mind leaving a review? Oh, I'm not sure how to do it. Okay, let me send you a text message with a link, and walk them through it if you have to. And then, of course, build reviews. And lastly, don't forget to reply to those reviews when you do get those. Very important. Here's a screenshot from the Lead Boomerang platform. So we've got a section in there for reputation where you can actually edit all of the different pieces of this. So this is a text message to a potential customer. If you want to learn more about Lead Boomerang in particular, mylb.net is a great place to go learn a little bit more about that. This is I guess we could call it a CRM on steroids. It's a lead handling system for window treatment and awning companies that we've built up over the years, and it does a lot of stuff. So it doesn't just do CRM stuff. It does text messages for reviews, for instance. It does call tracking, some of the things that we've talked about today. So check that out, mylb.net, if you're interested. Let's see here. Here's a couple of the business cards that we print. So just a logo, maybe a cool picture on one side, on the back, simply just a QR code. No distractions, nothing else for the person to do other than leave a review. So those are pretty cool and they work very well. You can also incentivize your installers to hand those out. So you could get, let me go back. You could get different QR codes for each installer so that each installer's review requests are tracked. And then, you give each installer $25 for every review that they get or something like that. You can't incentivize the customer to leave you a review. So you can't say, hey, Mrs. Jones, leave me a review and I'll give you $25 off your bid or $25 Applebee's card or whatever it happens to be. That's against the terms of service of Google. I've seen a lot of clients do it. I've seen a lot of customers do it. We had some plumbing done here just a couple of weeks ago, and the guy did that. Leave me a review, and I'll knock, I don't remember, $50 off, I think. So it does happen. It is against terms of service, so just be careful if you do decide to do that. But there's nothing wrong with incentivizing the installers to ask for reviews. Nothing against that. And then, give them some money if they do. So, all right, just as a quick review, optimize your profile through the things that we talked about today. Work on citations. Citations are huge. The other comment I'll mention about citations, they're not quick. So you go to some of these sites and update your information. It could be that puts it into some sort of pending status, and a human has to verify that. And then once they approve it, publish it to the website, you still have to wait for Google to come find the new information. So updating a citation could be, 6 or 8 weeks before it gets around to Google understanding that there's another one there. So don't think that it's going to, affect things immediately, but definitely worth a long-term play there. Get more reviews. Don't forget to do that. Very important. And then on-page SEO. So we talk about in some of the other workshops, wtmarketingpros.com/training. There are workshops there specifically on things you can do from an SEO perspective to help influence your Google business profile listing. So One last comment. Don't forget about Bing Places. This is one that a lot of people forget about. So this is the Microsoft Bing version of Google Business Profile. A lot of times, what you can do is set up your account in Bing Places. I think it's just bingplaces.com. I think I don't see it listed on here, but I think just do a search for it. Do a Google search for Bing Places. Once you set up your account there, you can actually click a button to import everything from your Google Business Profile. So you don't have to re-enter it and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. So definitely don't forget about that platform as well. All right. If you have questions, get them ready or put them into the chat area there. I want to make sure I get everybody's questions answered. Real quick, we talked over, some things that are new in the Google My Business world, Google Business Profile world. The 5 biggest issues that can prevent you from ranking well, how to get into that 3-pack, all the things you need to do to really get that going. Talked about some of the tools to help you along that process, and wanted to talk a little bit about reviews. The reviews are really going to help you get more eyeballs on your brand. Now, again, this is just one piece of the digital dominance method. Today, we kind of hung out in number 2, local SEO, which is the foundation of a lot of things that you do, having all those things set up so that all of the other things can start to be affected as well. All right. Any questions in the chat? Let me see if I can figure out how to find the chat here. Oh, here we go. Is there an optimal frequency for updating the content on my Google Business Profile to keep it fresh and engaging? So, if you can do it more often, that's great, right? The more you can feed the monster, the better. However, a lot of us are busy running our business and to do this 3 times a month, be fantastic. Really, it's just about being consistent and playing in the Google playground, right? If you're playing on their playground, they're more likely to pay attention to you and maybe move you up a little bit. So from a frequency, once every something would be fantastic. If you can do it more often, that's great as well. All right. Any other questions? Here we go. How do I handle citations for multiple business locations, and should each location have its own Google Business Profile? So yes, every location should have its own profile. And then when it asks for the website for that particular profile, you should link to the location page on your website for that particular location. So yes, multiple locations means multiple Google Business Profiles. And the opportunity to double down on potential leads, obviously, which is great. So yeah, you would definitely want different profiles on your website. You would have, abcblinds.com/locations, and then each location should have its own page on your website. And then you would link to those in the Google Business Profile website field when it asks you for the website. All right. Other questions? Hello, sorry, came in a little late. Not sure if you talked a bit about this, but how can I track the performance of my Google Business Profile to ensure the changes I've made are effective? Perfect. So first thing to do would be to go to Google, type in your business name. It should pop up a list of icons there that says you manage this business, something like that. In there, you can click on all the different things to edit all the different fields related to your business. So you can edit all of that stuff right inside of there. Make sure that it's all accurate and up to date. And that should set you on the right path. You're done business. And then from there, just edit the fields, make sure everything's filled out correctly. Hopefully that answers it for you. Let's see. Anything else? Looks like maybe that might be all of the questions. All right, let me get you some free stuff here. See if anybody has any last minute questions. So couple things. Get a copy of my book. So I've got a book called Triple Your Window Treatment and Awning Leads, Would love to get a copy of this into your hands, absolutely free. If you want one of these, let me know. You can shoot the link there. You can go to wtmarketingpros.com/book, fill in your mailing address, and I'll get one in the mail to you. Now, I've also published a new one that isn't on our slides yet, called 10 Quick Wins. This one I'm giving away free also, but I'm just asking you to cover the shipping. So I think it's $2.99 or something like that. So if you want that, when you go to this link, it should tell you about that opportunity as well. And then I'll send them both to you. Keyword list. If you're looking for keywords related to the industry, here's a great head start for you. wtmarketingpros.com/keywords. There's window treatment words in here. There's awning keywords in here. So you can grab those absolutely free. You don't have to opt into anything to get them. Just go get them. So that'll help you get off to the races. And then lastly, if you want to jump on a call and talk with me about your business, about your goals, what it is that you're up to, what it is you're trying to achieve, what your revenue numbers are, revenue goal for the year, how the industry is, if it's not what you expected and you need to kind of pay attention to digital marketing a little bit, would love to have an opportunity to do that. You can go to wtmarketingpros.com/strategy or shoot the QR code up there in the top right corner, and that will take you to my calendar. That's it. I appreciate you all jumping on today. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of the week. Here is some information on us across all the different platforms, YouTube, Facebook, that kind of stuff. Good look, younger version of an older picture. But there you go. There's some of the different social media platforms for you. We are everywhere. On YouTube, especially, there are a ton of videos. I think we're over 700, creeping up on 800 videos on that platform. So lots and lots of information out there for you to help you grow your business. Again, love to have an opportunity to chat with you if you're looking for